Okay, people, before we get started, I would greatly appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button and hit that bell to get notified. We drop new episodes of Forever News every Saturday, 12 p.m. EST, and throughout the week, we re-upload those segments into smaller bits for your viewing pleasure. So yeah, we can help both each other out. If you would hit that subscribe, that bell, you get notified. We keep this ship going. I don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's get into it. Fam, it feels like the anime industry is on fire. It is burning, in particular over here in the West, because over the last week or so, it has been one hell of a show, to say the least, regarding the battle between the voice actors and the industry. Now, it's no secret that a lot of parts in the anime industry, not only just the animators, we always talk about how the animators are stressed out and they're not getting their just dues, but there's a lot of key components in the anime industry that are very underpaid, and I don't want to say overworked, because some of them, they don't work as much as especially the animators over there in Japan, but the voice actors over here in the West, it's no secret that between the fact that fans never really give them their just dues, oftentimes they are criticized very heavily, and they're underpaid. They usually get about $65 an hour with a 2-hour minimum, so they'll get about $1.30 for their time, and then their part is usually done, and hey, gotta wait until the next one, until you get casted for something else. So that's already been an issue. That's why a lot of unions have been formed or whatnot. But over this past week or so, things got intense and got heated between the voice actor of Mob from Mob Psycho and Crunchyroll. Voice actor Kyle McCarley came out recently and said, hey, I might not be returning to Mob Psycho 100 with season 3 because Crunchyroll don't want to play ball, and it has snowballed and escalated from there. Let's read so that you guys are up to speed and understand everything that's going on, because it's been absolute chaos with multiple voice actors coming out, a lot of different things. Let's read. Mob Psycho 100's English voice actor probably isn't coming back because of Crunchyroll. October slated to be a stacked month in the realm of anime, with the return of the popular shonen series Bleach and the debut of the hotly anticipated devil-killing anime Chainsaw Man. However, it's not looking like the English voice actor for everyone's favorite milk-drinking psychic will be reprising his role in the upcoming season of Mob Psycho 100. Today, and this was a few days ago now, Kyle McCarley, the English voice actor for Shigeo Mob Kogeyama, uploaded a video to YouTube titled A Message to the Fans of Mob Psycho 100. In it, he informed fans that they will most likely not hear his voice in Mob Psycho 100 Season 3 due to release on October 5th because Crunchyroll, the internet's leading anime streaming service, allegedly refused to work with McCarley under a Screen Actors Guild American Federation of Television and Radio Artists union contract. I know for some of you that probably sucks to hear, and believe me, that sucks a lot to say. I'm really bummed about this, McCarley said in the video. It has been made abundantly clear to me that in the case of Season 3 of Mob Psycho 100, Crunchyroll is not going to be producing that show on a SAG-AFTRA contract. I guess it would be SAG-AFTRA. McCarley told Kotaku that Crunchyroll initially reached out to him on September 8th to ask about his availability and working on Season 3 of the anime. According to McCarley, Crunchyroll typically goes for simuldubs of a show, meaning recording both the English and Japanese voiceover of a series whenever they can. And following this video releasing, the internet went wild, like, yo, Crunchyroll, like, y'all better not play with us, like, we want Mob Psycho. And this was only over a few hours after this release that this was kind of going on, before Crunchyroll quickly came out with a statement and pretty much said, hey, you don't want to play ball with us, you want us to work under these contracts that we're not working under? Here's our response. And yeah, let's read this one. Crunchyroll's response to Kotaku regarding Mob in Season 3 of Mob Psycho 100. A Crunchyroll representative sent Kotaku an email in response to McCarley's role as Mob in Season 3 of Mob Psycho 100, saying, Crunchyroll is excited to bring fans worldwide the dub for the third season of Mob Psycho 100 Season 3 as a simuldub, the same day and date as the Japanese broadcast. We'll be producing the English dub at our Dallas production studios. To accomplish this seamlessly per our production and casting guidelines, we will need to recast some roles. We're excited for fans to enjoy the new voice talents and greatly thank any departing cast for their contributions to previous seasons. So, in a nutshell, their response is, oh, you're fired. You're recasted. That's it. It's over. Because the whole battle about this whole situation, in case you're not kind of grasping what's going on, because it is a lot, I completely understand. Basically, Crunchyroll doesn't want to work with union voice actors, because a union means that they would have to pay more out of pocket, and they're not trying to hear it. They're not trying to do it. They basically don't want to be working with any type of unionization, and their response is basically, oh, hey, he's fired. He's out of here. No more. And honestly, first of all, their response was very smug. It wasn't even like, hey, you know, we hear. It was just like, hey, we got something new for you guys. He's out of here. That's it. And that's that. And I'm just kind of like, wow. Honestly, for starters, very disrespectful response to this whole situation. They basically said straight up and down with that they're not going to play ball. They're not going to be working with the union. And it really sucks, because for starters, one of the things about voice acting, as I started this whole thing off with, is that they don't get paid that much. And on top of that, their roles oftentimes are few and far between, unless you're one of those people like, Colleen Clinkenbeard, or one of those voice actors, Bryce Papenbrook, that are constantly casted. You usually get your little role and you come back once in a blue. It's not enough to live off of. So these unions help to protect these people that want to be in these industries, that maybe they got a couple of roles, but it's not enough to live off. It helps them to be able to accumulate funds and just in general live better and stay in this whole realm without having to, worry about finances or whatnot. And Crunchyroll not wanting to do business with them pretty much ruins everything for this whole situation. And the worst thing about this whole situation is the fact that right now Crunchyroll runs it all. And this is what I've been telling you guys for a while now, about these whole monopolies that are being created within the anime industry. That, okay, boom, if you have one company that is the majority of, hey, we run this ship, then situations like this are unavoidable, because aside from Crunchyroll, there's only a select few that are running with, making new anime and working on dubbing and whatnot, like Netflix, and, very few and far between. And yeah, it's just mainly Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll has everything by the cojones, so to speak, because Crunchyroll, of course, has fused with Funimation, and they're owned under Sony. So yeah, this is bad. And then, yeah, it started to escalate because fans were bringing up other previous situations regarding Jujutsu Kaisen and all sorts of stuff. Because a person brought up this Crunchyroll Mob Psycho dub situation, just reminds me that Jujutsu Kaisen 0 made $30 million in the US, and the dub actors for that were paid like $300 each for their roles. And one of the voice actors from the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 dub said, I was paid $150 total, no residuals or anything past that. So pretty much they were only paid for about like 2 hours worth of work. They were probably paid about $75 an hour. Maybe it was, a little boost from the old 65, but they were paid $150. And that's another thing, that anime voice acting doesn't provide you with even residuals. And residuals, if you don't know what that is essentially payments that are made, like if, an episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, or, the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 movie, if it plays on TV or something like that, they got to give you a certain percentage of the royalties. So they got to cut you a check anytime it plays on TV or in other avenues. Hey, Crunchyroll is putting it, because I think Jujutsu Kaisen 0 just went on Crunchyroll fairly recently, is like, hey, now you got to cut them a check. They don't provide that with the dub voice actors. So I've always said, despite the fact that I'm not the biggest gung-ho fan of anime dubs, they have been dealt a really bad hand throughout time. Anime voice actors that are, doing the dubs and whatnot, they've constantly been scrutinized. They underpaid. They don't get the respect that they deserve. And then you look at this and it's like, dog, not even residuals, like $150 for Jujutsu Kaisen 0 that made X amount of money out there. That's crazy and wrong. And then another person came and piled on that regarding the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 film. They were also given the script about 30 minutes before recording and had a few hours to record. Worst part is, if a performance is bad or janky, people then target the actor or voice engineers. They rarely ever bring up the voice engineers. Let's keep it real. Like 99.9% of the time, it's, oh god, that voice actors did a terrible job. What the hell? $300 isn't enough for a film, let alone being insulted on the internet for it. I concur. Honestly, this is a very, very nasty situation. To keep it real, with Mob Psycho 100, I've seen it both in sub and dub. I believe my last watch through of it was in dub, listening to Eric Vale as Reagan and Kyle McCarley as Mob. And this is gonna be weird going into it. Like, yo, that's the main character. That's like recasting Goku in Dragon Ball Z. That's like recasting, Naruto and Naruto, although I don't listen to the Naruto dub, but point being is that this is going to get messy, because if other voice actors decide to go up against the grain as well, it's going to be a very messy situation. Now granted, it could also open up the floodgates for people that are like, oh, that's all good and all what y'all going through, but I've always wanted to be a voice actor, we going and getting this check. And that will likely happen, and that's probably why Crunchyroll is playing hardball, because they understand that there's a whole, sea of people that would jump at the chance to get into this industry or whatnot, and they won't even debate about unions and all of that stuff. So I expect it to get messier as time goes on. But yeah, if you're a fan of Mob Psycho 100, Mob will be recasted, and Crunchyroll is not trying to play with anybody. I mean, their response speaks volumes, that they're just like, oh, well, we're recasting you. Have an awesome one, like nuts.
I have a dream, alone in my room as I sit with the tea. Couldn't possibly think what I often see, and you don't even know how I often blink. Lights be flashing and looking at me, such a odd unique, yet I'm so unique and you're looking at me. If the walls could talk, they would probably read bleak, and I'd probably say, bitch, get the fuck off me.